The Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. We are good to go. The dance begins.
The pre-starts are everything. I think if we're tight and battling like that and one guy gets off a little bit better launch and the boats are close, that guy's going to control the race.
All about the time and distance here, when you lead back, when you decide to pull the trigger and go.
Okay, boys.
We know the starts are going to be critical and the teams are just trying different set plays. Those are the little nuances in these pre-starts are going to be really critical.
Big trouble for INEOS Britannia here.
Pressing Rossa foil here.
Absolutely parked there.
We kind of felt like there was a bit of an open door there for us to go into, and you don't need to give Pete Burling much encouragement to walk through the door.
Great start, guys.
This is the umpires. France has retired. The race is awarded to New Zealand.
When you want to beat the very best, you just have to raise your level every day. This is where we are now, so there is anything really positive for the team.
Luna Rossa doing a great job of controlling there. American Magic having to sail high and slow.
Obviously the pre-start is a very, very important part of the race. If you start behind, it's very hard to pass the other boat.
Okay, racing.
So far we haven't seen all the aggressiveness on the pre-start and all the moves you can do with this boat. I think people are still a bit conservative or learning different patterns. I think it's the right time to actually put the other boat under pressure.
A little desperation today from those teams wanting to indicate they are game ready. And they will be game ready as they dock out. A busy day for Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They've got 2 races, and then American Magic, they will want to get that pre-start down to a T. Business as usual for the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand. No fanfare, just getting on the boat and getting down to business. Then you've got Orient Express Racing. Let's just hope we can see them actually race today out on the Med. And Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, they're in a good space. They're all about improving. And then there's a challenge of record. Let's see what we get today. The crowds continue to be out here in Barcelona. They are just coming in their droves, looking on their devices, whatever, big, small, and different around the world. And they have their fans for each different team as well. It's a glorious day, hot conditions, but I wonder what the conditions are like out on the course, Shirley Robertson.
Stephen, the stage is set with one of the most dramatic backdrops Cup fans could hope for. The racetrack right off the beach in the beating heart of this iconic city. And so far, Barcelona is delivering stellar conditions. A glorious 12 to 14 knots from the south is predicted with a gentle seaweed. An opportunity perhaps for the teams and for us to see what they've got. Well, from the start, it is a battle of control and skill, with the boundaries pushing the boats back together, forcing multiple manoeuvres both upwind and downwind, pushing the sailors to the limit. It will be 3 laps with a gate at either end. Yachts can go round either mark as long as they pass through the gate. And the finish line comes quickly after the blistering final downwind leg. Right now, the wind is 9 to 11 knots, and more than enough for our space-age AC-75s to really take off.
Let's go racing, race 9, INEOS Britannia, Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
frustrated by a lack of pace and so far a lack of wins. Ben Ainsley's British outfit will be fired up to deliver. Ben lines up today with his 80. Finding his stride, offside driver, Olympic gold medalist Dylan Fletcher back on speed are trimmers McMillan and Bond, and clipped in and ready to go into this match are an impressive power lineup. Leask, Carr and Cornish, a unit led by rowing Olympic gold medalist Matt Goldthorpe.
Back to the big league of the America's Cup here in AC37. Will Alinghi Red Bull Racing to be able to ring the bell in today's race against the British? The skilled driving team of both Arnaud Sarafagas on the starboard side of the yacht and Maxime Bachelin on the port side will guide the boat around the racetrack. With Nicola Rolla and Brian Metro in the foil trimming kitchen, will they have the ingredients it takes to bake the cake of success today? With an epic Cyclor team powering the pumps on board, could they be the dark horse of this America's Cup here on the waters of Barcelona?
Yes, the Catalan capital doing us a proud. Ben Ainsley, Dylan Fletcher left and right at the top, and at the bottom Arnaud Sarafagas and Maxime Bachelin. Those are the men steering their AC75's potential victory in race number 9 of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta here in Barcelona. Glorious conditions as always. The temperatures sitting in the high 30s.
Well, we saw yesterday.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling period is complete, and this race will start on schedule.
We saw yesterday, Stephen, the importance of nailing that pre-start, and there'll be much work on the simulator overnight and this morning, really working out a plan to get this right.
2 minutes and 10 seconds. GBR coming in. Stephen McMahon, double Olympic gold medalist. Shirley Robson, 3-time America's Cup winner. Glenn Ashby, and on the water, Peter Lester and our Chase Zero. This is hydrogen boat.
Racing now. Lovely. They're back ahead of it. It's a main hill, lads. Full of wish.
Let's see if their time and distance is on point today. 7 seconds to go for INEOS Britannia. Into the start box.
Stay with it. Rotation into a roundup.
Fantastic entry by INEOS Britannia there, on time, on speed. Textbook entry there.
And Alinghi Red Bull Racing pretty much good on time but distance as well. Here we go.
Not much room to the right-hand side. You're really forced to start manoeuvring probably earlier than you would have liked.
Yeah, really nice conditions here. INEOS Britannia deciding to go into a circle and then basically push Alinghi Red Bull Racing down to the bottom end of the course. Still wide open here. Both teams able to get it off the line early, or on time, I should say, at this point in the race.
2, 1, get board. What do you think here, Ben? I think follow them down and then come on their hammer. Yeah. Okay, rotation in here. And I will. Okay, working up now. Playing flat lead. All the way back. 28, 30, 55. Feeling 55, yeah. Angle. Looking to jump from here.
And this is really the critical part of the pre-start here.
Feeling 45. Go forward down. Let's do it. Forward moving. My wheel. What? Your wheel, mate. Feeling low, yeah.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing needing to get the pace on here as quickly as they can.
My wheel 13 to the pin. 20 on the line. 17.
Beautifully executed, but it is the positioning just underneath.
INEOS Britannia here will be looking to close the gauge as much as they possibly can up to windward and try and lock Alinghi out there, but I think both boats looking like it's time on the distance from here.
Slightly early, a little bit of pace to lose.
Killing 3 now, safe on the pin. You and them, killing 2. Killing 2 or 3.
Both boats should get off fairly evenly here, Shirley.
10 seconds to go to start of race 9. INEOS Britannia, Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Close to the line, they look like they're going to get it bang on, and we are a go.
Nice there. Okay, breathing slightly in the right. can get past into second in 10 seconds. They might try and hold for that. No, we're good here. Just sailing in normal numbers, but never too fast. That's what we're doing here.
If Alinghi can really hold this position, they're in good shape. We've seen the teams wanting to protect that right-hand side. They look like they're slowly being sucked in, though, Glenn.
A really, really close race here. They just have to hold. Alinghi Red Bull Racing, if they can hold all the way to the boundary, they will put the British on the back foot here.
10 to boundary. Wide, goes. Okay, 2, 1, board down. 2, 1, stay.
Both boats should tack simultaneously here.
On the mode here. 27. Mode. Okay, quite strong. Take some connect.
Alinghi holding up high, really trying to make it hard for the British team.
Yeah, they will have practiced this mode many, many times. The British really have to survive up to windward here. This will be a real drag race. It'll be the really first time these two teams have been in such close quarters, so we'll get a real indication of how close the boats are being sailed here.
26 knots, 25 knots. 24, that's top of 23. They have to tack out, board down, board down, board down.
Alinghi really slowing them up here. INEOS deciding to tack away there before they come off the foils. Alinghi will now re-accelerate, and we have got an absolute cracking race on our hands.
Onto the water, chase zero. Cracking start, Pete.
Yeah, good start and very even off the line. And Alinghi did a good job getting INEOS all the way across to this left-hand side. Then after the tack, Alinghi just put the squeeze on and both boats were decelerating. Ben Ainsley decided to tack away, Alinghi extending. The next cross will be crucial.
At that tack, they were so down speed, both boats. 24 knots they were doing. I mean, how hard is that to start to tack at those low speeds?
Yeah, really, really on edge there. The British bailing early before they got themselves off the foils. So really smart move there by INEOS Britannia to just recognise the situation. Alinghi putting them in a squeeze, and we've got an absolute great race on our hands coming up here.
Okay, the highest numbers. Tack. Plan here. Potential small duck for us. Cover now. Okay, ducking here, my wheel. Yeah. Not much of a duck, that angle. On the way back. Okay. Yeah. Watch it go, turn up. Yeah, coming up. Okay. Got trap. Okay, your wheel. Yeah. All the way. 20 seconds. We get to the right of him here. Nice. Happy to go to ley line here, let's go. No slower than this building speed.
Yes, sir, into the line. Nice pressure coming down on the right.
Let's have a look how close this previous cross just was. Both boats getting pushed really, really hard here, Shirley.
Yeah, coming up.
Interesting how they swap helms as well. We hear in the comms Ben Ainsley, who was on starboard, taking control just to accurately nail that cross.
Yeah, from the windward side of the yacht there, you've got absolutely no idea where that other yacht is. You're absolutely relying on that leeward helmsman and trimming to position to paint that picture and actually take control of the yacht in those crossing situations.
This is so close. I mean, like a second between them. Big decisions to make at this top gate.
Okay, one more from you.
Coming into the top gate for the first time. How tight is this going to be? Hold your breath for just a moment. Who gets the advantage going in? INEOS Britannia around the top mark for the first time. Closely followed by Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
Hey, Travelers coming. Let's go, boys. My trap. Go, trap. Hit it. Okay, get settled. Hold it, let's get it settled. Breeze is in the right here, but looking for a match, I think, Leroy. Copy that. They go now. Boards now. Right, boards leaving. 3, 2, 1.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing there, just jibing inside to make sure that they've got a clear lane of breeze on this downwind. You can hear the Cyclors of both teams there, really putting in the big yards there.
Slower.
to go?
Average breeze. Happy to go from here.
Okay, 2, 1, roll down.
Down to chase 0. Pete evenly matched these two boats.
Yeah, I was impressed at the top mark, the way INEOS engineered that last third to create a pass right at the top mark, and then they matched. So they got in phase immediately with Alinghi. Gave away a little bit to do that late tack, but it just means now that they can push forward in that bow position, and we know that INEOS looks pretty pacey on the downwind legs.
Yeah, I agree with Pete. I mean, Alinghi really let INEOS off the hook, but did not protect that right-hand side.
Matching them here.
I'm eyes on you. Okay, they're turning down, and they're board down.
2, 1, board down.
3, 2, 1, mate.
Turning. 5, 2, 1.
It is such a treat to get inside the cockpits, see the body language, but also to hear the comms and how much pressure there was, constant pressure.
Yeah, great comms there from flight controller Lee McMillan before the manoeuvre there, just painting a really beautiful picture of what he was seeing out there for the opposite side of the yacht. So that choreography just super important for sailing the boat cleanly.
We want the right upwind, don't we? So actually we let them go and go to the left lay line, or no? Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah, looking at some really nice numbers here, the VMG of the yachts. That's basically the velocity made good to the bottom mark. So they're basically heading directly to those marks at about 36 knots. Boat speed about 40 knots, but VMG to the bottom actually about 35, 36. So really, really good numbers for the downwind there.
2, 1,
They're pretty matched, these two.
On the Swiss, so yeah, pretty happy so far.
Rob, Glenn here, mate. Looks like you got some wheels on the downwind. The boat looks like it's going really well.
Yeah, hey there, Glenny. Yeah, like downwind seems reasonably strong for us at the moment. We're still looking for a little bit of pace upwind. Not too much, you know, but we got a strong squad behind us working hard on that, so we're pushing on.
Thanks for your time, Rob. Appreciate it. Let's go to chase 0. Pete, you'll be listening to what Rob Wilson, the coach of INEOS, has said. Concur?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought INEOS looked really quick on that downward leg. Now they're coming directly at us on this left-hand side. INEOS is just trying to reduce the gauge between Alinghi, and that lateral separation initially did reduce, but as we speak, Alinghi have just got into a bit more pressure in that windward position. So coming across on starboard, it's been a pretty even match.
Right-hand side of the track looks really good today, more so than ever. You can see them really trying to protect it.
They go aboard. Okay, give a couple of seconds.
I think the encouraging thing here today is what we've been wanting to see since the start of this regatta. Pace from INEOS and seeing that they've really worked this boat to its potential.
We've seen changes in modes as well, Glenn, you know, as the pressure's gone up and down. Pretty versatile what they can do with these machines.
Absolutely, the moding of these boats is super critical. The gains in just putting the bow down a couple of degrees, you know, in some more pressure, you can gain 4, 5, 6 knots of boat speed. So against your opponent, you're using those modes as accurately as you can to really get the best out of you know, your tactical positioning.
Happy with that? Yeah. Locking it off this.
25 to 10. Probably going to attack on it or about it. Maybe we go in one and in. 20 to the bed. Yeah.
Let's see, go on. They will not get to ley line, so we should be able to attack on them here. Yeah. That's it, let's get I think actually just go to ley line. Yeah, copy. Safe attack. It's left gate bias. Yeah, copy. 10 seconds here. You're working, not working.
See how well the British are sailing their boat trim-wise there. Foil trimmer's doing a really nice job of locking that British boat in. Sailing a really solid race.
Just listening to the comms from Subinese, there's a real confidence in the voice today. Like, we're in control of this.
Yeah, it's a calmer boat, isn't it? I mean, from the get-go, it's felt like they had a plan and they've executed it and they haven't done anything complicated and they're sailing the boat, as you say. I mean, trimming and with the foils, it just seems so accurate today.
30 seconds away, boys. Taking a little bit of height for the turn. Copy that.
Coming into the halfway mark of race number 9, about to complete leg number 3 of 6, and it will be the challenger of record, INEOS Britannia, looking good, and they'll be very happy about this. This game is also about one of confidence, and around they go.
Hit it, boys. 100, 120, 30, stay with the turn. Let's go.
Following to the top gate to complete their halfway stage, it's Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They take the opposite mark. And the gap's lengthening somewhat.
And it's quite easy. Okay, good angle, yeah. All over.
Nice day.
Very jive. It just go all the way for us. 32 Henry. But a bigger lefty than us.
Very good right here. More pressure coming.
The VMG line here again. This is sort of the line, if you like, that's directly to that bottom gate. So you can just see the British there. 37.9. There's sort of, they're just often just a click faster on this downwind, I think, than Alinghi Red Bull Racing. So really, really interesting to see those VMG lines, because that's the exact course that they're doing to the bottom gate.
That's that solid tempo. Let's let down here. I think we need to go straight. Yeah, copy.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening to 1.75 nautical miles.
Go and recover. Go all the way here and see how it plays out. Yeah, copy.
Those Cyclors definitely not coasting on the downhill, one would say, Shirley. It's definitely a full pedal going downhill for these guys.
The way the British run their cyclers is they have like a cox, and their cox is rower and sailor Matt Goldtree, who's sort of leading the push. You know, when you need something extra, they're working together. But listening to the comms on board also.
The breeze obviously just dropping just fractionally there with the course change from Ian Murray and Mel Roberts there. Alinghi Red Bull Racing really just trailing probably a little too much at the moment to put massive pressure on the British. They've just got themselves far enough forward now that they can afford to just put the shoulders back a little bit and just sail the boat well. So still quite a bit of racing to go though yet.
Putting the good ship team.
got to remember we're playing the long game here, of course, and Arno Sarafagis, despite being beaten yesterday by American Magic, they said it was a massive learning day, and that's what we have to understand. This is all about the long game.
We're seeing progress day on day, Stephen. Look at INEOS today, it's like a different boat.
Keep trying to warn out.
INEOS Britannia coming into the bottom gate for the last time, except for the finish. 2 more legs to go. They look confident, they look fast. There'll be a good vibe on the boat.
Let's go. I just need a tiny bit more fluid, I think. Yeah, stay with it. Okay. Get out, speed in. Taking Cunningham here. So they look like they're splitting.
There's more pressure on the right of the court. Yeah, one board, one
Alinghi Red Bull Racing now coming into the bottom gate for the last time, barring the finish. They'll take the right-hand mark, as you said, and around they go. Heading up to the top again.
Nice one board round up there on Alinghi. That's a really nice, fast, clean turn up onto the wind, so they'll be back to good numbers very, very quickly there. The breeze dropping just a little, so making those turns on one board all that more doable.
What's the cutoff, Glenn, between 1 and 2? Where is that?
Depends on how brave you are. Certainly in these lighter conditions, it's a lot easier on 1, but as it does get windier, probably then about 12 or 13 knots. 2 boards of the key. Some great shots of the helm and trimming positions there on board Alinghi Red Bull Racing. It really is a flight cockpit.
Let's go on to chase 0 with Peter Lester. Looks like Alinghi Red Bull Racing are trying hard to hang on, but they're being outgunned today.
Yeah, and the big jumps are being made on the downwind leg. INEOS was really quick on the downwind. On that last one, they took out 5 boat lengths on that leg, and that has now put them in a real safety buffer over Alinghi. So I think the speed advantage that INEOS have on the downwind, we saw it yesterday, but they've really capitalised on that today against Alinghi.
INEOS Britannia sailing low and a little bit faster. We can see that at the top of the rigs. I mean, part perhaps just a strategy to, protect that right-hand side. All about positioning.
Yeah, absolutely, Shirley. They're definitely pressing on the woolies, as you'd say there, using the jib hard and just putting the bow down and letting it rumble, and that's just sailing straight across the face of Alinghi Red Bull Racing and making sure they're going to eat a bit of dirty air on that trip across to the right-hand side.
We've got a lovely shot of the woolies. They have plenty of them.
Yep, those little woolly indicators indicating the airflow actually going around the sails themselves. So really key to be able to see, particularly in take-off situations and manoeuvres, just how quickly you get that flow attached back again on the sail plan.
So you can get one in right. So go leeward. Go leeward.
We have a grandstand view watching this, and folks on the beach at Barcelona, they have a grandstand view as well. Don't know where you'd rather be around the world watching whatever size device, but boy, they have really turned it on here in Barcelona.
Amazing shot there of INEOS Britannia. Having a look now at the trim angle of Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Both boats being sailed really well here, and just that little gap that INEOS Britannia gained off the start and up that first beat has put Alinghi on the back foot.
Providing INEOS Britannia get home well, and they're looking at a strong position. It's a 1-point win in the preliminary regatta, but there's much more meaning to this win today, considering what's come before them in this regatta.
They keep going straight.
Stand by. 2, 1, board down. 2, 1, lead, standing. 2, 1, can board. Stay with it.
Yeah, Ben and the boys absolutely need to have a solid result today. They've had a couple of wobbly ones, and they'll be really looking forward to getting across the finish line here with a win.
Happy with that. Pretty square game. 39 and 15.
INEOS Britannia in control of race number 9 here in the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta here off the coast of Barcelona. They've looked sharp today, and we've all been waiting for that, and they have answered the call, you might say, as they round the top mark for the last time and head home.
The sound of the AC-75 being pushed hard. Cyclor's absolutely cranking there to get the power back on.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Just a quick check on the delta. It was 28 seconds at the bottom mark. They've shaved 3 seconds off. Marginal improvement, but I love the word improvement.
Looking now.
See how hard those Cyclors are working there on Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
On to chase 0. Peter, I think as we head down this final leg for INEOS Britannia, this is a welcome sight for everybody, most importantly the team itself.
Not much pressure on the barroway.
Yeah, this is impressive by INEOS. They've really, I think, completely dominated this one. The crucial time for me was that lead change on leg 1. But equally impressive has been their downwind performance. I had that last upwind at the same delta as the previous upwind, but it's downwind that they are making the big gains. It'll be interesting to see what the delta is when they go over the line.
This way. A little soft touch. Maybe link it bow up.
Fantastic audio.
All the way to there, come on.
It's so hard in there, isn't it? You are in a carbon hole with no air. It's hot. There's G-force.
It sounds like pistons going.
Well, they are. And those pistons are the leaks. And you wouldn't want to be one of those boys, I don't think. They are absolutely on the rev limiter there, doing a brilliant job. Hats off to them.
Not allowed to lift your head up either.
No, you get someone to smack you over the ears if you lift your head up. It's all about aero and keep your head down and do your job.
The tough life of a cycler, and tough is an understatement, right?
I love it. I live for it.
Spoken like a true non-cycler.
Spoken like a true trimmer. Give me some more energy so I can trim more.
Do another left one and just let's see if we can get a bit more heel and copy. Last rounding here, boys.
INEOS Britannia are having a good day on Saturday here in Barcelona. They will tick over win number 1 in the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. It'll be a point, but there'll be more to celebrate. They have been slick today, and they've still got a race to come.
Nice. Can you get your forward down? Yep. Very fair away.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing were hanging in there for, albeit the good 3 legs, but then in the end, the relative speed and just sailing skill of INEOS Britannia has caught them hanging, and they will come in. They'll finish second in the preliminary regatta. No points for that.
Are we the same? I extend a bit to the left corner and exit.
Wonder what that means to the team on INEOS Britannia. How about that? Yeah. Little pats on the back. Job done. That's the most important thing. Confidence will wash across the whole crew. Confirming the race result of race number 9 of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. A first up win for the challenger of record, INEOS Britannia. A 33-second win over Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
Well, it was a good, clean start, wasn't it, Glenn? Both boats getting off the line in great shape. INEOS Britannia just 4 meters from the line.
Fantastic start. The top gate, Shirley, really INEOS Britannia just shutting the door there on Alinghi Red Bull Racing and sort of, you know, taking the gate off them and really putting them on the back foot.
INEOS Britannia really put the pedal down on this downwind leg and perhaps showed us a glimpse of just what they've got.
I think INEOS Britannia's pace downwind was really quite impressive, and I think that was probably one of the things out of today's race, that it was actually, you know, quite nice to see for them. So they'll be very, very happy with that for the whole team. Coming across the finish line.
Yeah, good finish.
They did a great job. The team will be stoked with that, and they'll be looking forward to tomorrow's racing for sure.
Let's get on to INEOS Britannia with Ben Ainsey. Ben, congratulations. That was slick, mate. You must be stoked.
Yeah, it's a bit better than previous couple of races. The team did a great job. It's actually about okay off the start line, but Alinghi did a nice job hanging in there and made it quite difficult for us when we tacked onto port. Pretty close, and we managed to get to the right-hand side of the top of that beat, which came good for us. But yeah, much better race, and looking forward to the next one against Rossa.
Benny, it's Glenn here. You look like you've got some decent wheels downwind, mate. You must be feeling pretty solid. Look great.
Yeah, we're going all right downwind, and you know, it's tricky conditions with the breeze on the build like this, and again, seeing some differences in some of the team's sail configurations. Yeah, we were on our smaller main, and I think Alinghi changed to a bigger main. So plenty going on out here.
Yeah, thanks, mate. We'll see you a little bit later on against Rossa.
Cheers, guys.
On to Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Arno Sarafagis on starboard hound. Arno, you hung in with them a while. It was a solid start.
Yeah, it was pretty great start of the race. We did a good job to really hold them all the way to the boundary and then make them the double tack. And after, yeah, we were just trying to push as hard as we can, and they just got the cross, and then from there they did control the race. But the guys on board did a really good job to provide the power and try to stay as close as possible and wait for a tiny mistake. But INEOS controlled the race pretty nicely from the cross.
Arno, it's early days, isn't it? I mean, how happy are you with how it's all starting to come together?
I think it's pretty great. I mean, third race of racing, we can learn every day. We adjust from yesterday. We were really happy with the start and the strategy, and I think we need to learn this week as much as we can, and before going to next weekend.
Thanks, Arno. We'll see you again at Emirates Team New Zealand later on today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just having a little quick look at some of the pre-start here, Shirley. It was a really good battle there in the pre-start, and actually both boats getting off the line pretty even.
Yeah, and I think INEOS really learned from the mistake yesterday. They stay inside the start box. They don't get over the ley line, and really played it safe, in control, and both boats ended up with a pretty decent start.
Foiling has revolutionised the America's Cup, as you have seen, and these wing-like appendages that can lift a hull clear out of the water enable them to hit speeds of 50+ knots. Now, every team's hoping this will be their year to celebrate. Alinghi Red Bull Racing is confident they've got the correct mix of youth and experience to see their ADC 75 to victory.
To learn to sail an AC-75 with two helmsmen was a bit disturbing in the beginning, mainly because it was new.
Being a helm on the 75, it's quite challenging. I think it's an important part to have a good communication on board between Arno and me.
The sails go from the mast all the way to the back and down to the deck, so you don't see half of the race course or what's happening. So you need really to rely on your crew members, and especially the other helmsmen that you have.
Bearing away in 3, 2, 1, bearing away.
I think that Rossa, when they came up with that idea in 2021, was a game changer solution. And for us, it was the option that we wanted to go from the beginning. You learn way faster as well, because you can combine two experiences. You try new things way quicker. So the learning curve is much better with two helmsmen than with one.
Driving an AC-75, it's quite different compared to other boats, because yes, for my first time like seated and driving with a wheel, You have many buttons on the wheel that make many settings, making the boat faster, really like a car, I would say. Arnaud Sarfagis is a very talented sailor. I think he's focusing a lot on the performance of the boats. He's always questioning the systems and how to be faster. And I think it's one of the quality that is the best for winning the America's Cup. So I'm very happy to helm with him.
Maxime Bachelin, the second helmsman that we have, is full of energy, young sailor. But it's great because we have a slightly different approach. His one is incredible because he's fearless. He just wants to send the boat around the race course at full speed. Winning this America's Cup will be a great achievement because we've been working so hard for this goal. I've been dreaming about it for many years.
Lifting the America's Cup, I think it's the best achievement I can have and the biggest dream I have. To be able to bring it back to Switzerland, making the same atmosphere as I had when I was young, when they won 2 times. So if I can bring this to the country, will be just an amazing feeling.
Race 10 in the gate, American Magic, Orient Express Racing.
Well, blaming himself for errors in the pre-start dance yesterday, driver Tom Slingsby will be looking for a win and a faultless execution today. His opposite helm is Olympic gold medalist Paul Goodison, trim flight is Campbell in Menninger, and supplying the power, Hall, Wright and Molitor. And the first man to complete 4 kilometres in under 4 minutes, track cycling phenomenon, Ashton Lambie.
New to the America's Cup table in the 37th America's Cup battle is the French team of Orient Express Racing. The driving team of Quentin Delapierre on the starboard side of the yacht and Kevin Pepinay on the port side will guide the yacht around the racecourse. Foil trimmers Mathieu Van Dam and Jason Saunders round out the afterguard, and with a powerful Cyclor team powering the hydraulic pumps on board, they need a solid day today.
And there are your men guiding these AC75s about Tom Slingsby, Paul Goodison, left to right at the top. And then you've got Quentin Delapierre and Kevin Pepinay on Orient Express Racing. Fun fact of the day, we're 7 weeks to the day to the start of the match. October 12, 2024, as we try and find a challenger.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling period is complete and this race is live.
American Magic, 2 wins, 1 loss, the 2 points beaten by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli yesterday after being forced into basically a poor start, which Shirley quite rightly said. Tom Slingsby put his hand up, said it was all on me. And Orient Express Racing having to retire in the last race of the day yesterday. We are just hanging out for them to show what they got.
We're needing a solid day today, the French team, and we're all really hoping that they can have that coming in towards the entry now.
1 lane, okay, we're all clear here. Good angle, no lower. Sorry, this is my wheel. Okay, veering away in 2, 1, all clear.
American Magic just about perfect with their time on distance and from port, and in come Orient Express Racing. They will be quite a bit late.
Rolling up into it.
They're just on time there, the French just a little further away from the line, so a little bit late close to the pin, but sailing the boat nicely here, so really hoping that they can engage. American Magic off the foils there. This will be not what they're looking for here, Shirley, in the pre-start here. That's not ideal for them.
Well, maybe we'll see what happened there, but...
Yeah, we're all good.
Almost looked like they lost the rudder of the boat in the manoeuvre there. Tom Slingsby standing up there to sort of try and get the boat going again.
Hard port here. Just behind us, directly behind. Yeah, we're going to jibe over here, guys. Rudder's gone.
The rudder stalled.
No. Right.
Oh, they've got an issue there. saying something's wrong with the rudder potentially.
Yep, take up on whichever board you know. Say again. Pick up on whichever board you'd like, I'm not sure.
Big problems in the start box for American Magic in race 10.
Opening the door here for the French to
but I do not see actually.
Get off the line cleanly.
Orient Express, just keep it simple. We all want to see them complete a race.
Yep, don't OCS, sail the boat well, get it off the line, press on the jib and get it round the track.
Big goal, Michael.
Doing a nice job getting the boat dialed in there. 29 seconds to go for the French to start. So time on distance for them. Big problems for American Magic there.
Yeah, there's no head action, so I think we're... It looks wrong on the diagram too. I think we're wrong. I think we're off on
10 seconds to go. Orient Express Racing. Look like they've got their time on distance well sorted. They weren't pushed at all in the start box by American Magic, who have big problems, and away go Orient Express Racing in race number 10.
Race committee. Team USA, withdrawing.
Wow, disaster
Race committee
there
copies. Thanks, USA.
for American Magic. Reliability, it happened to the French yesterday. It's happening to America today.
Declaration stuff.
We heard them say that they heard a big bang, so potentially quite a big deal.
Yeah, be interesting
This
to
is
know
the
what...
umpires. USA has retired. The race is stopped and awarded to France.
Wow, that's all you can say about this one. When you heard, I think it was maybe Tom Slingley saying the rudder's gone.
Yeah, that's not the words that you want to hear anywhere within the American Magic team at all, and I'm sure they'll get on top of that fairly quickly, but that has completely ruined the race for them. But fantastic to see the French out there now, just sailing around the track, and their boat obviously performing well.
Ok, non, je te dis une question.
Cheval si tu le veux.
Ah, j'ai pas reçu.
Gagnant, d'accord. Et press one and in si on a un iMode disponible.
Ah, copie.
Ouais, il faut vraiment essayer de le faire, les gars. Vas-y, iMode.
A really fantastic shot there of Orient Express Racing. Absolutely dialed in and sailing the boat well. The boat performing.
Great Britain, Italy. This is the race committee. We're wondering if you guys are ready if we bring the race forward. Please let us know if that would be possible.
Hey Mel, this is Italy. We'll just do a jib change and then we'll be ready to go.
Just watching a replay here of the American Magic boat just trying to get going again, and clearly a rudder malfunction there, and such a shame, surely, with what we've seen with how solid the team has been up to this point.
I mean, this could actually develop into quite a big deal. They need to declare the kit they're going to use for future racing when we get into the round robins, and they have a time limit on when they can say that. I mean, this is quite a stressful moment for Terry Hutchinson and his band of men.
Well, let's take it just bring it back a little bit further. Not getting a win in this race today actually puts all sorts of pressure on them to try and make the final of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta, because they're on 2 points. The Italians are on 2 points. The Italians are up against the Brits, and wow, what could unfold? As Italy get the win, they're in the box position to potentially head towards a final.
I think though, Stephen, they're looking further ahead than that, especially when it's hardware. It's not just a kind of tickle of the software or checking the electronics. That did not sound good.
They'll definitely get on top of that little issue for sure. I'm sure it's not a complete showstopper for the team. So they'll get it sorted, and they'll be back out sailing again. So obviously reliability is something that all the teams sort of working on in these early stages, and lots of systems on board, all getting commissioned for early time. So pretty Frustrating faces there from Paul Goodison, having a yarn to his team, but they'll be back to fight another day.
We've seen a lot of gear issues. I mean, is that just, you know, it's early days, it's the preliminary event, the boats are complicated. Are you surprised, Ben?
Look, the boats are extremely high-tech, very, very complicated, and, you know, they're super, super light. If it was an aircraft, you know, you'd have 2 or 3 redundancies, for example, to keep the thing flying, but the aircraft are heavy and they burn a lot of fuel because you do have all that redundancy built on board. These boats simply don't have that redundancy, and every system needs to work correctly, and that will all come together over time, as we see over the next few weeks and the early days of racing at the moment. But as we've seen, you know, it happened to Orient Express Racing yesterday, and look, they're out there sailing now, boats working perfectly. They need a good solid result on the board, and fantastic to see them sailing around. A great result for the team, big job, and super stoked for the French to be out in the water sailing later today.
It'll be interesting to see how long Orient Express Racing are out on the course with no one to race, because I think that they're just gagging to have some practice time out there and just get themselves finessed.
Yeah, they definitely won't want the racing to be brought forward from the other teams. They'll be like, it's our course, we want to use it, and you know, they'll enjoy sailing around, just getting the feel for the track and utilising the systems.
Righty-ho, let's go on to American Magic and try and figure out exactly what went wrong. Paul Goodison is with us. Paul, what happened?
We don't really know. We lost rudder control in the entry there as we started to circle, and we still had a little bit of steering but didn't have any rake management, which is why the boat dropped out of the sky and made it difficult for us.
Yeah, Paul, Glenn here, mate. You guys have been so reliable, you know, over the past sort of weeks. That must be pretty disappointing for you guys. It's a real shame. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, it is disappointing. It's all part of the puzzle. I think the big thing is how we figure out what went wrong. Like the boat, as you said, has been so reliable. The guys have been doing such a great job of getting us out here every day, and the reliability. So we just got to dive in to find out what went wrong and make sure it doesn't happen again.
No, nice, mate. Thanks for that. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys back out there smacking it hard tomorrow, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
Understandable disappointment. How about that bang, though? Like something just went.
Definitely sounded like something failing there. I don't think potentially a electronic issue. That actual bang sounded like something at probably at the head of the rudder in the top bearing, basically, that would actually control the actual rake ram of the rudder. It sounded like possibly a rake control failure of a hardware nature, not a software nature. So we'll hopefully get more information on that shortly.
It was definitely Houston, we have a problem. That was a hell of a bang.
It was definitely a bang on board there. You could see that from the rear camera shot, which was a fantastic shot, and just that jerking of that thing going. So I'd say definitely a hardware failure there, but nothing that the guys won't be able to fix. They've got a great team, and that's why you have a brilliant shore team. They get onto these things quickly, and a huge part of the whole campaign, making sure the boat stays reliable.
Give us an idea of how much load is on that tiny rudder wing.
Yeah, well, certainly in different situations, you can have tons of load, thousands of kilograms of load vertically and pulling down on the actual rudder itself. And in a big roundup situation like that, where the rudder rake is actually really going through a huge movement to keep forward, there will be a lot of vertical load on the rudder itself and a lot of sort of compression load and tension load on those control rams that are actually controlling the head of the rudder to actually control the pitch of the boat. So, you know, again, you don't want to overbuild those systems because they need to be light enough to keep the boat down as light as possible within rule tolerance. So a lot of work to be done on those systems.
So let's just take a look at where the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta stands at the moment. But look at that. Changes. Points for INEOS Britannia and Orient Express Racing. Happy days, but that could be a crucial problem for the USA going forward. We'll just have to wait and see how that one shakes down. Emirates Team New Zealand, they have a final race today against Alinghi Red Bull Racing. That'll be race number 12. Next up, it'll be Rossa Prada Pirelli against INEOS Britannia. One boat, one skipper. Well, it's a time-old concept that's been cast adrift on these supercharged AC75s. Twin helmsmen have become the norm. For France's Quentin Delapierre and Kevin Pepinay, it comes naturally. In fact, it's cemented a brotherly bond that's set to last a lifetime.
I'm helming the AC75 with Kevin Pepinay, who will helm the 75 on port. You have to trust the second helm because he's got your blind angle. I know for a while that Kevin has the same vision as me. He's sailing nearly the same way as me, and he's always asking himself how to be better.
I know Quentin for a while. The first time we met was maybe 10 years ago. We were sailing against each other, and we met in a youth French national of match racing, and we ended up in final. We had a lot in common at that time. Like, yeah, we were enjoying sailing together.
As soon as you're making together a pair, it's all about trusting and believing that the other one is able to do great things. And I think we've got that together. We know that Kevin or me can achieve great start, can win the biggest event in our sport, and that's all you need. Kevin is a great human. He's always smiling.
He's also the godfather of my kid. We like spending a minimum of time outside the America's Cup life. Yeah.
He did something that really touched me last year. He just named me as a godfather, and that's really mattered for me. It's not only the cup or sailing or athletes, it's also about relationship. I truly believe that the human relationship, you will remind this your whole life. At the very end is if you have great friends, your life is way better. So that's Kevin. I think he's a very good human, as I said.
On a boat, we need to share the helm, and there is sometimes we are both hands on the helm and like 4 hands on the helm. Sharing the helm is meaning about ego too. On new tack, you are leading the performance. You are running the 100% of the boat in your hand. And on the other tack, you have all the tools, but you are leaving the rudder to the other helm.
I've always been really impressed how Kevin is able to be really focused on what are the essentials or what really matters for winning a race as soon as the pressure is really high. And at the end, when it really matters to perform or to win a race, I'm always sure that we are on the same page and we are just focused on being fast and being first.
Not a good day for American Magic. Looks like a piece of gear has failed. Let's go onto the coach boat and talk to the chase boat, talk to Coach Tom Burnham. Tom, everything's been going so well so far. Probably the best thing for this to happen now, right?
Yeah, of course. It's still the preliminary regatta, so points aren't counting yet for sending anybody home at this stage, so that's a good thing. But certainly a disappointing day. We had a really great warm-up. Everything was going really well, and then a little bit of a failure there in the start.
Oh, Tom, it's Glenn here, mate. It looked like a pretty decent bang on the cameras from the transom of the boat there, and just wondering what actually went bang.
Yeah, I think it's something with the rake ram, the rake cylinder for the rudder rake. I'm not exactly sure. There's a whole bunch of hydraulic experts down the back there having a look at it, and I've been up trying to help fold the jib, which is an unusual activity for me because everybody was so busy in the back.
Nice work, mate. No, sorry to hear that breakage, but yeah, well, you guys will be back, I'm sure.
Hey, Tom, one final question. When you have a breakage like this, and you're the coach, you deal not just with how they sail, but with their heads as well. Do you have to get inside the head a little bit and say, okay, just keep moving, or are they smart enough just to know that now?
These guys are seasoned professionals, have been through a lot in their careers, and they certainly don't need to be told that. But of course, we remind them that what we can control, what's in our control, and sort of in the sailing part, and they've been doing a really great job of that so far. So yeah, just keep chipping away, and everything's going on track. We just got to make sure we keep these breakages down as well, and keep executing around the race course.
Tom, appreciate the time. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
The New York Yacht Club has a long and rich history in the America's Cup. For 132 years, they were the guardians of the America's Cup. It was the longest winning run in sporting history, but it came to an end in 1983 when Australia won the Cup and took it down under. Now they're back, and they've charged the team at American Magic with the task of reclaiming sailing's holy grail.
The New York Yacht Club was the first trustee of the America's Cup, won back in 1851 and lost in 1983.
The whole history of the America's Cup is so intertwined with the New York Yacht Club. Being a part of that history is really special. It's really exciting. This is only the second campaign for American Magic, so we're trying to build upon that historical piece that the Yacht Club brings with a newer team.
America was the first boat to win the America's Cup, and Magic was the first boat to defend the America's Cup. And so when we were deciding on what to call the team, Hap said, I think we should call it American Magic, and here's why. And it stuck. For me, it's evolved. At first, it was the historical side. And then, when you reflect back on our trajectory in AC36, there was magic that was created out of catastrophe. We have not chosen an easy path, particularly because one moment defined America's Cup 36 for us. While it wasn't pretty, we didn't let the moment beat us. Yeah, I mean, you take it on the chin, and 4 years later, you can think about it in a slightly different lens, but it's definitely with you. When I contemplate AC37, and I look at the incredible work being done for us, and for me personally, the name has definitely evolved into we're representing our country, and the people inside of our team is really what creates the magic.
I christen thee Patriot.
There's a lot of unfinished business within the team, a lot of people that feel like there were some things that were left undone that want to be finished off properly and come back and get a second chance at making a real good go at the show. It is a hard thing to come out and win, and it takes a bit of time and a bit of learning.
I think the team learned some really valuable lessons in Auckland. And it's not just the lessons that we learned from the mistakes we made or the things we did well, but also understanding where other teams got decisions right and where other teams made, I guess, the wrong decisions.
Oh, he's going to capsize.
When you put all that information together, it gives you a really good matrix to figure out how you're going to operate this time around.
You see and you feel it, I think, every day. It's just a sense of purpose. We've been through something really tough together, and we're going to develop the character that we have as a team going forward.
When I come in through the door each day, I'm proud of what we've built here. And you see what we are and how we are. It's not flashy. There's a little bit of blue collar to it that makes you feel proud of the fact that we have everything that we need, but we're focused and spending our resource in a proper way, not in a way to glamour up or glitz a base.
That's why I love being part of it, why I love being here and being with everybody and seeing their determination, seeing their talents. I mean, they're so talented in so many ways, but absolutely committed to the goal that we have to win.
It was, I guess, an Australian team that took it away from them in 1983.
The defence had lost. And for the first time in 132 years, the challenger had won.
I'm half Aussie, half American, so I'm very proud to represent the US. My mother's fully American, and she's extremely proud that I represent the American flag. And we're here, we're excited, we're ready to roll for the race.
winning. That's what success is. You win. You win, and you have a role at that point, once you win, to influence the event and influence sailing.
Can American Magic win the America's Cup? Absolutely. The magic will come from the people inside of our four walls. And as a competitor and inside this competition, if it's within yourself and it's within the people that you have to execute, you couldn't ask for a better situation.
Race number 11, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, INEOS Britannia.
Clean, clinical and polished. Early days, but Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli already looked to be setting the bar amongst the challengers. Jimmy Spittle, driving in his 8th consecutive cup, has turned up looking strong, and his long-term partnership with Bruni, well, makes this a formidable pairing. Bolognese and Tise ensuring the speed and a steady flight, and backed up on the pumps by Voltolini, Gabbia, Liuzzi and Kerwin.
Another seasoned America's Cup outfit and challenger of record for AC37 is a British team of INEOS Britannia. Led by Ben Ainsley, steering the team's dreams and the yacht itself, can he and the team right the wrongs of past campaigns? Joined by offside helmsman Dylan Fletcher, flight controllers Lee McMillan and Bledenmon, the team also utilises some of Britain's best leg power with some crank-snapping energy provided from the Cyclor group, ready to power the huge sails on these 75-foot carbon flying machines.
INEOS Britannia will be pretty happy about what they have done in their first win, but this is the team that come up against the Silver Bullet, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. We've got a win yesterday. They are a 2-win, 1-loss record with 2 points. Let's go and do Chase Zero with Peter Lester. Peter, after what we saw with INEOS Britannia, this is another step up for them against Luna Rossa.
Certainly is. I think it's a really good benchmark for INEOS. They sailed really well against Alinghi. Now they're going to come up against the challenger of the last America's Cup, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, and it is a step up. And if they can be competitive against Luna Rossa, that would be a big tick in their box for the day. So I think this is a fascinating battle. I think INEOS have got that trump card with their downwind speed. Can they utilise it in the race against Luna Rossa?
What are the conditions like?
Yeah, pretty nice. The chop's up a little bit. It looks like it's about 12, 13 knots, and the seaway has built a little bit, so it's a wee bit more than what we had earlier on in that first race of the day.
A little bit of a juicy showdown, this one. Can't wait to see this. And as Pete quite rightly said, a good chance to benchmark yourself against a Luna Rossa team that yesterday were just smart and they're clean.
I've always my job around here.
Yeah, speaking of juicy showdowns, there'll be plenty of juice getting pushed around those hydraulic pumps in this pre-start. Both these teams absolutely will be throwing it round, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what dance moves they've got. They probably won't show all their dance moves this early on, but it will be a dance nonetheless.
So Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, just a reminder, they're sitting on 2 points. That loss by American Magic could fall into their favour if, and it's a big if now, if they're able to get over the top of INEOS Britannia.
They will have practiced racing this team in the simulator. You know how much of all that goes on, Glenn, and how big a difference does it make?
It's absolutely key to sort of know your opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and all teams are really doing a lot of recon on the, you know, what the other teams have got in their toolbox as far as match racing goes, but also what they can do with their boat. How quickly can they turn it? How easily can they throw it round? You know, that at the end of the day, it's the millimetres of difference, as we saw yesterday with Emirates Team New Zealand, just getting INEOS off the foils. Like, they're the small differences that make the result stick or not in the end.
Fast turnaround for INEOS Britannia. When you think about it, we've normally got a long race to get themselves sorted on their 2-race day. Interesting to see just how they adjust quickly and whether they feel a little bit of pressure knowing that the Italians are coming at them.
I think fantastic that they've already had one race under their belt today. You know, they've got a good feeling of the race course. You know, they've had some looking up and down the course, and they'll have their boat dialed in. So obviously got a little bit more time to the start now. We've sort of got some shots here, still about 5 minutes 20 to go. So we're just seeing the boats cruising around, keeping the boat on the foils. They'll be lining themselves up for a good entry position. Probably with about sort of 1.5 to 2 minutes ago, they'll be wanting to put themselves in their predefined position to make sure they execute that entry well. That's all so important.
It's quite the billing, Stephen, isn't it? Jimmy Spittle versus Ben Ainsley.
Actually, Jimmy's been quite quiet so far, hasn't he? I'm sure he's going to get a little bit more vocal. He's sort of allowing Francesco Breddi to do all the talking. I'm waiting for the, shall we say, historical Jimmy to arrive.
Jimmy will still be practicing his Italian because he speaks about 2 words. I think I might have 1 word more than him, but I think he's got 2 and I've got 3, but they're probably all bad ones. But no, this is going to be a great showdown, and you know, these guys have done a lot of sailing together over the years, so they'll be looking forward to dominating, I think, in this race.
Peter mentioned the change in the sea state with these boats. Does it affect them that much?
Quite nice flat water at the moment. I mean, I think tomorrow could potentially be a little rougher, which is going to be really interesting. At the moment, absolutely perfect conditions for sailing these boats. 10 to 12 knots.
Careful with the gas on the way back.
And that's how close we get to show people around the world the pictures. There's one of our helis up there getting right on top of them. I think from memory, Jimmy does not like helis.
Jimmy does do a little bit of flying, and I think he likes flying in the helicopter, but not being underneath one. But no, it's all fun and games. It's all part of it, and the helicopter guys do a brilliant job to keep out of the way. Really, really get some great pictures.
On the Kiwi boat, definitely gone softer than before.
A little bit to go before we get them in on port and starboard entry. It'll be Luna Rossa in on port with the 2 minutes and 10.
Kind of like early left on dry off
2 minutes for INEOS. Let's just have a little listen to see what they're going through. A little bit earlier than expected.
Title Leeward could work today. Make sure we have the speed for the tank, okay? Yeah, it's going to go up there, guys. Hey, stand by.
This is the race committee. We have completed the wind sampling period, and this race is live.
All good.
We are good to go for race number 11. Port entry will be Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Starboard entry at 2 minutes will be INEOS Britannia. Having picked up their first win of this preliminary regatta, they'll have the bit between their teeth. They'll be ready to go. They'll say, okay, figured it out, feel good, come on Italy, let's have a nudge.
So this is where we would normally take things from coming in, but both boats lining up for looks like to be an on-time entry, surely.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli looked like their time or distances bang on, steaming in at around 35 knots. And then they come into the start box, not too far away. Here comes INEOS Britannia. Allowed to enter at 2 minutes. They'll be just a little bit behind that, but let it get on.
Really nice entry for both boats there, so stand by for some action here.
Hey, here's Lobo.
Going board. Hey.
Hey, going board up again. Nice position.
Your wheel. Down by. They peel now, killing 122.
The object of the game
to
here.
go the other side of them here. They look quite early.
Put your opponent on the back foot off the start line.
Okay, killing a minute.
This is the umpires. Early entry penalty, GBR. Early entry penalty, GBR.
That is a big penalty there for the British. They must have entered the entry zone early. They will have a penalty, but they will be trying to wash that penalty off as quick as they can. Hearing from umpire Richard Slater there. Disaster for INEOS.
We got to pass ley line committee. One more of those, and we're good. Coming up the number. To leeward is fine, I think. Right here. What's coming up? We are 9 to kill pin. Hey, ready for a little high mode here?
Killing 7. Should be able to...
Okay, high mode now. Trim up, boys.
One trim up, give on. And we'll come it out. 5.
One more.
Right wheel. Killing 4.
We are racing pin. We are racing pin.
Inside the last 30 seconds to the start of race 11. Penalty. Entering early for INEOS Britannia.
Actually, this is a good position. Don't chip on, guys. Just a quick. Obviously, yes.
Nice, lads. 8, 7, 6, 5, working up 4, all the way. 3, hold, 2, 1, gun.
All in.
We are a go in race 11. Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, INEOS
A
Britannia.
little low mode here, going low. Let's try to base penalty with a low mode, okay? So keep the speed here.
45 seconds still.
I think hammering on the next stack is going to be our game.
So the British with a penalty for entering early. They have to lose basically 75 metres relative to the Rossa, Prada, Pirelli here.
This is the umpires, GBR boundary penalty, GBR boundary penalty.
Starting fast.
A couple of unforced errors there for the British.
Come low here. You've got a band, that's good. They're going to got 10 seconds to burn it.
Double trouble.
Penalty clear, penalty clear.
Go.
INEOS Britannia and race 11.
Smash it. There we go. There you go, Trav. Go still. Yeah, mine.
If they tag, we are at 45 degrees, so we are not, not covering. But we are on a lefty phase, so I'm going to go straight.
Just over the entry line there early by the smallest of margins there. The British pushing super hard. You just don't need to quite push that hard on entry, so a bit of an unforced error there. They'll be disappointed with that, followed up by a boundary penalty. So you're not going to win races with those unforced errors, unfortunately.
Nice numbers, guys. Happy to push a smidge of Vuitton. Copy.
We just go straight at the moment.
Happy with this hill.
Let's go to chase zero. Pete, that's a killer for INEOS Britannia.
We will be taking 2.
Oh, that was brutal. It's just the small meters, you know, slightly early for entry and then a boundary penalty, and it's those little errors, those, you know, there's only a metre in it, but it just is so costly when you get back into the match race. And Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni just say, yep, thanks very much. We'll take that as our bread and butter, and they'll just be substantially in the lead at Mark 1.
Just some information there from our fantastic team behind the scenes, and at 36 knots of boat speed, the British were 2.4 metres over the entry line, so absolutely nothing in it, but really pushing too hard with something you don't need to push that hard with, to be honest.
They were excited. They're excited. It's a cruel blow, though. It's a cruel blow. Then you get the boundary penalty. Now let's see how they respond. How do INEOS Britannia respond to double trouble at the start of race 11?
The game by is pretty square. Okay, yes. I can take this.
Let's have a look at their second penalty from the British here, Shirley, and as the boat's coming into the boundary there, and again just pushing it hard, and crikey's just over it. I mean, it's like tennis, the ball's either in or out, and you know, they've been out both times, so double fault.
A little soft out of this, maybe.
It's a shame they can't be like tennis players and scream at the umpire.
They certainly don't want to smash anything, that's for sure.
That's still
do a McEnroe.
I mean, those boundaries come pretty quickly.
No problem.
Actually calling attack to going, you've travelled a fair difference. It's not easy to gauge.
So what do you think, 1 and in left? Yeah, I think so.
My pressure looks even to me.
To me as well. Little build for the attack, boys.
It sounds like a walk on the park.
Going 3.
I always remember in Auckland when we had the heart rate monitors, Jimmy's would be on about 80 and Francesco Bruni on 150. He's got ice in his veins, Jimmy's middle.
Rossa, Prada, Pirelli heading into the top mark for the first time. They will take the right-hand mark as you see it. Head down on leg number 2 in race 11 of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta here off the coast of Barcelona.
A little bit of a righty fade.
We've got to follow him, huh? Yeah, okay, we can follow them. Yeah. Okay, might well. Bye, crab. Down in 5. Hands on the moon.
INEOS Britannia pretty much following on a direct path of the trail of Luna Rossa.
100.
We've seen a bit of a change in the wind, a bit of a left shift, and it has got a bit lighter, and we're expecting a big swing round to the left-hand side later on this evening, so maybe it's the start of that.
2, 1, 8. Heading. Quite well. 2, 1. Going board.
Jump to windward.
Anyone? Coming down.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1.75 nautical miles.
Jibber.
Taking the 40 here. Keep the ripping. Yeah, working out. What did it? Down. But a bit lighter at the moment. Coming down. Down to 9.9.
Beautiful flat water conditions for the AC. 75 sailing here in Barcelona today. Tomorrow, my feeling is it's going to be a different look. It's going to be interesting with a bit more seaway, potentially.
I will focus on performance, Jimmy. Yeah, no worries.
That was a good call by Francesco Bruni. I mean, really just not worrying so much about the opposition, but getting the maximum out of these laps.
Okay, let's stay this side of pressure for now. Yes, really nice letdown. Oh, yeah, that's
yeah, definite performance gains when you can just focus on the actual sailing of the boat and not concentrate so hard on the boat behind. You definitely take a game there because you can concentrate 100% on just sailing the boat accurately and to its numbers. So
they have a really kind of special relationship, don't they, Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni? Bruni just saying, look, concentrate on the numbers, stop worrying about the other stuff. But that's a relationship developed on years of sailing together at the highest level.
It certainly is, Shirley, and those relationships, like in any sailing team or any team environment, take time to develop, and the more time you can spend together doing that together, time and time again, you just get that relationship that really becomes powerful, particularly under pressure in the future.
Hey, building again. Comes to speed.
Good angle here, still building 4.
Jimmy Spittle, he's 8th America's Cup. I guess he was 12 when he started.
Okay, at the bottom.
He might need to buy some cows like me and have a rest. He's doing a great job, Jimmy. He's one of the sports greats and got a lot to offer, and obviously helping upskill the younger generation coming through.
That's good angle.
Such an important part of getting to your later years in life is being able to recognise talent on the way through, and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli certainly doing a great job identifying talent coming through.
INEOS have done really well on this run. They've taken 50 metres out of the Italians.
I was a little late. Past the ley line, boys.
Have to keep positive heel from here, Kenko.
I'm on the water. Nice small function, boys. Big push here.
Positive.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli down to the bottom gate for the first time. They head up to top to start thinking about that halfway mark, and they go around confidently. Given that bonus, double penalties for INEOS Britannia. One at the start, then at the boundary, but they're chasing, and they will chase hard. We've seen already they've got a good boat speed. Can they close down?
Okay, what's coming up now?
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
35 to the boundary. Hey, mates, coming on, boys. Hey, my trap. Got trap. Hi, leeward heel. Yep.
Let's go on board the Luna Rossa chase boat to coach Philippe Presti. Another solid day today. Weren't actually pressed too hard at the start box. Philippe, how are you? Apologies for the lack of audio coming off the Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli chase boat.
It's a good angle.
Let's go into chase 0. Can you see the INEOS Britannia boat catching up at all, Pete?
I think 185, 187.
Pretty tough from where they are there now. I did monitor that downwind, and I thought it was pretty even. Luna Rossa, at one stage it looked like INEOS had got into them a little bit, but when they got into the bottom mark approach, Luna Rossa took a little bit back. Luna Rossa's coming straight towards me now, and I'm right on the bow. It looks just superb in terms of their setup. The boat is very close to the water in terms of the end plate effect. And certainly Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni are doing a pretty good job. And really, after that error in the start box for INEOS, it was just then a matter of saying, well, how close can we keep to Luna Rossa Prata Pirelli? They've got a bit of work on to catch up.
A nice lefty here.
Probably still bending a click.
Some great shots there of Umberto Molinari.
I think, if anything, the numbers are a little high for targets, okay, guys?
Yeah, I agree.
Or maybe drop one not...
It just tagged. It just tagged. Yeah, a little right. You actually happy to take this.
Okay, stand by, boys. Go in 3, 2, 1.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shortening the course to 1.7 nautical miles.
Good angle.
The last two course changes have been less in length, Stephen, so he's dropping a little
on the
like
next one.
The building too.
I think we
Just getting past the intersection and coming left. Quite light here, so maybe a little bit flatter boat. Yep.
Definitely softer up the track. Okay.
Nice, good speed.
Transition to a bit more wind for the left.
Back and right. Pressure is down here. There's something 15 away.
Glorious, glorious pictures coming off our galleys, just showing you the vista that they sail in front of on the Mediterranean. That port of Barcelona in the background, and it's all business on INEOS Britannia. They'll be filthy with themselves. 2.4 metres over into the entry box.
Our team have been listening to their onboards and not happy with the tacking either. They're tacking from 33 knots to 25 minutes. It's not good enough, Glenn, is it?
Holding there, 80%.
Yeah, it's a big speed drop, and if this breeze keeps dropping down over the next 10 or 15 minutes, we could actually be seeing ourselves getting into some territory where the manoeuvres become quite marginal, particularly the tacking. So
good bump on angle.
Hopefully we won't see that. Hopefully the breeze will stay in.
He's to leeward of me. Let me do this.
Slight gain it would appear if you look at those metres between the two boats by INEOS Britannia on this upwind leg. Slight gain, you can see it.
I think it's got lighter at that top end of the course. The conditions are definitely changing and becoming more and more unstable.
I just wonder whether that plays into the window of INEOS Britannia and how it performs in different air.
Only 8 to 9 knots of breeze now at the top end of the course, Stephen, so definitely we're seeing a drop in pressure. So going to be interesting this next lap or two.
Luna Rossa Prata Pirelli leading INEOS Britannia into the top gate to complete the halfway mark of race number 11 in the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta here on the Mediterranean at the coast of Barcelona.
No reason to go slow here.
Ouch.
And in comes INEOS Britannia. It appeared from what we saw they made a slight gain on that upwind leg, and we know that they are quick downwind. Let's see if Ben and Dylan put the foot to the floor.
2, 1. Head away, slide and turn a bit. Nice. 30 seconds. Right. Hold it a little bit, yeah. Go. Any on it. Okay, rolling away into a jibe here.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1.6 nautical miles.
Board. Hang you up.
30 seconds.
Okay, cans moving.
Let's go to chase zero, Pete. How much is that wind softening out there?
38.
Yeah, well, mainly dropping in velocity, and what we're seeing now is the downwind angles have got tighter. We just noticed that jibe, and gee, they must have, you could probably pick it up there, Glenn, looked like they jibed through nearly 90 degrees, so as it lightens, the boats actually have to sail a little bit sharper angle to, to keep their optimal speed.
Yeah, Pete, it's certainly the observation that we're getting here is that breeze is dropping, and seeing some still good performance of INEOS Britannia downwind here. So it's, you know, you're only, again, one wobbly manoeuvre away from a pass. So really interesting to see the VMG on both boats there. Just a little better to INEOS Britannia in general on the downwind. So
same, it's better pressure.
it'll be interesting to see how they go towards the bottom.
From here on, we match
Both teams would have made their sail selection based on 12 to 14 knots, would be so pre-start. Yeah. How much of an effect is that to be on the smaller jib and having to search for power?
Definitely hard exiting manoeuvres with smaller jibs on for sure in the lighter air, and in a straight line you're still trying to get the power out, but it's exiting the manoeuvres that just is so difficult when you get to the very, very bottom range of both the mainsail and the jib. So you can see there the power of that twin skin mainsail, huge mast rotation and camber in that mainsail now, and even the smaller jibs really, really deep. So very, very minimal Cunningham, very, very stood sections to really generate that horsepower out of the rig.
Even just watching that, a massive amount of adjustments, as you say, to the mast, to the traveller. There's a lot going on as the winds drop now.
Still showing a little bit of gate bias on our side, on the left side.
Wind directions, I think the wing gear is still settling.
I agree with you. I think it's the most simple choice, and I don't see why not to go left gate. Just a little earlier on the jibe on the ley line, that's all.
Coming up, just visual, have a look.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1.5 nautical miles.
So another change to the length of the course because of the wind softening, but that actual margin that Rossa Prada Pirelli has on INEOS Britannia has actually lengthened on the downwind leg, which means they are sailing that boat beautifully at the moment as they complete leg number 4, and they'll take that left-hand mark and head up the course for a final time.
Okay.
Hey, 30 seconds.
Good pressure straight on the nose.
Good left. Nice lefty toes. No rush. Up and angle.
I'm struggling with these jives for some reason. It's got a bit weird. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's head. Okay, turning up here. 2, 1. Turning up.
INEOS Britannia round the bottom mark, head up for leg number 5. The deficit's 28 seconds.
Your turn. Going flat. Yeah. 30 seconds. Breeze is in the left here if we want to take it. Okay, standby tag. 2, 1, 4 down. 2, 1, made. Turning. My wheel. 2, 1, down board.
I'm thinking to hammer him on the next one.
We're done.
Hearing the voice of Francesco Bruni there saying, thinking of hammering them on the next one. That's basically just tacking on top and actually forcing their dirty air to float down the course right onto the rig of INEOS Britannia, and that's the job of the sailors is to try and line that up. So you're pretty much just putting them right in the exhaust fumes of the rig of your boat if you're leading.
That's angle.
As the wind is lighter as well, I mean, it's a greater effect, isn't it? It's so hard to escape from it.
Okay,
Tussle over and under.
We go to target.
Onto the chase boat of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Hi, Philippe. Another good day for Luna Rossa, maybe helped out by the penalty box start that was a bit of a problem for INEOS.
Yeah, the starting is very hard. You know, you have a racing software and you're guessing the time based on the information of the wind. And during the entry, the wind goes pretty much everywhere. It's easy to make such a mistake. And entering early is very important because you can put the pressure on the other boat. So I understand the mistake. And then the guys did a great job just settling in and deciding to start behind INEOS and get a good control position from there.
Philip, it seems very calm on board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Would you agree with that?
I'm glad it's calm. it's a working progress. Every day we try to operate at that, you know, it's kind of a Jimmy hard right beat we try to match. And I think if you've got a loud boat, it's very hard to take decision. It's very hard to understand each other. So we really try to work on the wording and the tone. So we make good decisions.
How calm is Coach Presti?
Very calm.
All right. Grazie, mate. We'll talk to you again.
Little press.
Coach Philippe Presti on board the chase boat for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. That gap between the two, they're still sitting around 400 meters. The Italian team, they've controlled this race nicely.
It's bread and butter for the Italian team of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli at the moment. They're just literally going through the motions, sailing the boat well, keeping in touch with their opponent. And yeah, definitely another day at the office for those boys.
It's quite noticeable, these GN3 boats, isn't it, how much the lighter at. They're not as affected as much as they were in Auckland. They just seem to keep rolling.
Definitely the light air performance much better with the weight reduction out of the boats now compared to in 2021, and the light air performance really good.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli for the final time at the top gate, taking the left hand mark as they see it, right hand as you see it on the screen.
And catch. Hey, 22nd. Good pressure here, guys. No rush out here. Yeah, no rush.
Hit the comms, no rush, which means not too much pressure coming from INEOS Britannia. They'll be feeling a little bit of pressure because they're a bit dirty about getting into the start box early and getting that penalty and then the boundary penalty as well. But they are around the top gate and heading home in race 11.
20, 30. Okay. Stand by here, my trap. Good trap. 2, 5. Down. 2, 1, 8. Turning. Time out.
Let's go to chase zero. Pete, we've talked a lot about INEOS Britannia today because we were so pumped that they got that first up win. But what do you make of this performance by Luna Rossa?
I think Luna Rossa have had an edge. I've just been monitoring sort of the deltas at the stop mark, and when they came up the last time it was 21 seconds. They're out to 29 seconds now. I think they're just making little incremental gains. Upwind for sure, but also on the downwind leg, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli have been matching INEOS, and INEOS Britannia are really probably the benchmark on the downwind legs, but there's plenty of pace on the Italian boat.
Has the wind stabilised?
The wind's at the top of the course, it's lighter than at the bottom. It certainly looks quite sort of quite smooth and a bit sort of light at the top. Down at the bottom mark gate, down by the finish, it's probably a knot or maybe 2 knots better breeze down there in terms of wind speed.
Coming left a little here. Still pressure all the way, yeah?
Final leg here. Not a whole lot INEOS Britannia can do, barring a unforced error from Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Shirley, yeah, sort of not much you can do. You're just sort of looking at your opponent sailing down there toward, and you're just hoping that they make a mistake. But I don't think Luna Rossa are sailing the boat badly there. It's pretty hard there to make a gain from here.
It's also about information gathering, isn't it? And remember, this is only day 3 of us actually seeing these boats race in anger. So much to learn for all the teams.
Powered up here. Practice, are you for left?
Just give me one round up.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta will come across the line and bank win number 3 and give them 3 points to equal Emirates Team New Zealand, who are up next against Alinghi Red Bull Racing. But they'll be feeling good about that. Are they heading towards the final of the Prelim Regatta?
Nice. Nice work, boys. Away from the course. Probably on the left side of the course.
Anytime.
Okay,
Stand by.
another race
Here we go.
after us.
2, 1, and down. 2, 1, lead. Cat's wide. 2, 1, come on.
INEOS Britannia, they go 1-0 today. Most importantly for the confidence of their sail team, their shore team, the whole organisation. They got that win and they sailed it so beautifully earlier on today against Alinghi Red Bull Racing. But they'll cross the line to complete race number 11 in this Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta.
Fine, Trav. Push up. Nice now. Potentially need to let me get a little bit of trap first. I don't know on that. It's tricky. Yeah, on the main on. Oh, because I'm jib car all the way down. Yeah, copy that. And,
Confirmation now of race 11 in the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli get the win. Win number 3. It's by 46 seconds over INEOS Britannia. So where does that all stack up? Well, it stacks up that now Luna Rossa and Emirates Team New Zealand are now 3 points. Emirates Team New Zealand 3 from 3, and Luna Rossa 3 from 4. So where does that leave everybody else? We've still got a day and a bit of racing to go. Stay with us.
Well, this race was nearly won and lost before they'd even got in. INEOS crossing that imaginary line, that entry line, by the smallest of margins. Well, INEOS made a great start here, but obviously had to drop back. They had to take that penalty, that's 75 metres. And for Luna Rossa, just keeping it clean. Leg one also saw another infringement by the British outfit, leaving them trailing, and the gap got bigger and bigger. By leg 5, it was a big margin. And Luna Rossa win the race.
Stand by.
On board Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, congratulations Francesco, a nice tidy win today.
Yeah, we are super happy. Obviously it was not very easy because we were not sure about which jib to put up. Luckily one of our coaches, Amish nailed the call, and we sailed with a little bigger jib. We all thought he was wrong, but he was right. The wind was dropping, and it was very good to have that jib up.
Francesco, Glenn here. Sounds like you guys might be filling up the beer fridge for Hamish tonight. Definitely the breeze was dropping, so he'll be happy.
We have to be careful with we have to be careful with beers. That guy, he likes to drink.
Nice, mate.
All right, appreciate your time, Francesco. We'll talk again. Let's go on board INEOS Britannia. Dylan Fletcher. It must be just tough, that early entry into the start box.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough pill to swallow. We thought we were safe on it, but obviously didn't give it quite enough.
Dylan, how hard is it to judge? I mean, you're going so quickly, and it's the finest of margins. How tough is that?
Yeah, it is tough, but we've got our tactical aid, and we thought we were safe on it with some time in the bag, but sort of jumped at the end, and I can't imagine we were over by very much. But, you know, after that, I think we were quite happy with the start to beat the Italians from that point, and then it was just obviously tough from there with being on the wrong jib and that early penalty.
Thanks for your time, mate. Got the win today. That builds confidence. We'll talk again.
Cheers, guys.
So, to win the America's Cup, you've got to think outside the box. 4 years ago, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli introduced twin helming to the world. Jimmy Spittle, Francesco Bruni have more experience than anyone, and it shows on the leaderboard. They're the wise old heads of twin helming, but they're not afraid to hand the controls to the next generation.
I had the privilege to sail the last America's Cup with Jimmy. We made that new way of sailing, we made it work, and we feel quite proud that we have been the first couple who made that happen. Couple, that sounds good.
Stand by for a better way, guys. 3, 2, 1, better away.
There were many people questioning, is that the right thing to do? You're gonna helm for 50% of the time. You won't be as good as all the other guys, blah, blah, blah. But the more we were trying different kind of playbooks, the more we knew that that was the right thing to do.
The twin helm setup is great because you can maneuver, you know, in a split second. 2, 1, we're down.
Nice turning.
Well, the first benefit is that you don't have to run across before or after a maneuver, which is a very critical time for the boat.
My wheel! Can you roll? My roll!
Having one guy or two guys running across the boat is not ideal. That's really the big gain.
I mean, I've always come from a team background where I've always had full trust in all of my teammates, irrespective of whether they're driving the boat or not. So at the end of the day, we're going to put the best combination out there that we believe will give us our best shot at winning this thing. So we've got essentially 4 drivers at Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. We've got Ruggero Tita, Marco Gradoni, myself, and then Keko Bruni. Clearly, Keko and I, we did the last campaign together.
Fantastico! È bellissimo!
Yeah, we just built a great relationship. We got a lot of racing together. But the 2 young guns that are coming up are very, very good. And, I mean, the talent that Italy has, I think, is some of the best in the world.
3, 1, 2, 1, go down.
It's been amazing to have Marco and Ruggero on my side. I know that they are ready for sailing on the big boat, so I need to do my best to keep my spot. It's as simple as that. You have those guys pushing behind and you need to do more than your maximum.
They have done it again and crossed the finish line here.
You need to really work together very well. And it happened with Jimmy, and I'm very grateful that we made it happen. There were some very good moments in Auckland, and I can still remember them. I still feel it on my skin, and I want to have more of those moments in Barcelona.
Race number 12, Emirates Team New Zealand, Alinghi, Red Bull Racing.
I'm not alone in thinking the defenders look fast and tidy in the ring. The addition of driver Nathan Outridge to Pete Burling's tight unit has eroded any doubts about their starting prowess. Trimming regulars are Maloney and Took, and pushing out the wattage, the impressive Webster, Allen, Crosby, and making his debut in this edition, Louis Sinclair.
Back to the big league of the America's Cup again here in AC37. Will Alinghi Red Bull Racing be able to ring the bell again in today's race, this time against the defenders? Maxime Bachelin and Arnaud Sarafagas are driving the bus. Nicolas Rollas and Brian Metro trimming. Barnamy Delazar, Terry Scher, Nico Stahlberg and Niels Thunik are on the cycling pedals for today's race.
This is the race committee. We have passed the wind test, and this race is live.
We are good to go. Race 12, the last of the day on the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. Emirates Team New Zealand, top of your screen. Pete Burling to the left, Nathan Outridge to the right, Arnaud Sarafagas and Maxime Bachelin, the man steering. Alinghi Red Bull Racing around this magnificent racetrack. Glorious conditions, high humidity too, which sometimes we forget about, but we're 20 seconds away from the port entry. That will be the defender of the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup. That boat there, Taihoro, Emirates Team New Zealand. Let's see what their time on distance is like. Looks pretty sharp. Now it's the turn of Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They're allowed to enter at 2 minutes. They will not be getting an early entry penalty here. They'll come in a little bit late, but they'll come steaming in. Time to get it on again.
Tidy entries from both teams.
Top. And up now. Good job.
Lighter conditions so important just to keep the pace on, keep the boat on the foils.
1 minute. On one now.
Really, really important to keep the boat on the foils in these conditions. A little lighter than yesterday's racing, so a lot of pressure on the teams.
They're letting it down. 40. 20. 4 red pistol. Midway down. 28. 5 down. 20. Jump. And you're in.
They're right in the corner, the final turn as they head towards the start line.
Alinghi really have to make sure they accelerate here. Emirates Team New Zealand getting close to getting them hooked. Just keeping clear there, Alinghi. Pressure still well and truly on Emirates Team New Zealand, pushing them hard.
And Rossa doing well there just to keep clear, not to engage.
Another little charge if you want.
3. Higher.
They look slightly early, both teams.
1. Attacking now. 1. It is open. It is open. Press on the mark.
It should be okay. It's just sweet. Really slow, guys.
10 seconds to the start line.
7. 6.
Okay, it's lit phase here, so keep going. They're just shooting for the
Split started race number 12. Game on between Alinghi Red Bull Racing and Emirates Team New Zealand.
Happy to keep going.
Hats off to Alinghi Red Bull Racing there. Really lovely job in that restart. Actually, time on distance beautifully, putting the pressure on Emirates Team New Zealand, forcing them to do a split start.
Emirates Team New Zealand were slow, weren't they, in that last 20 seconds? Forced off to the right-hand side. Hats off to Arnos Harfagis.
Out on the sail stream. 10. 9.
On to chase zero. Peter, interesting start.
First split tack start was seen here, and it was advantage to Alinghi off the line. New Zealand went over to the beach side, and I thought they just showed to have good pace. I think this intersection looks like it's advantage to the team coming over from the beach, and that'll be Emirates Team New Zealand. But a very good start by Alinghi, but New Zealand look to have good pace and good angle coming over from the right.
Just one behind.
Close cross here.
And it's tricky to leave out. You can do it. 3, 2, and board.
And attacking now. We can stay if you want. No, we cannot stay. 3, 2.
Absolutely perfect placed attack there from Emirates Team New Zealand, forcing Alinghi Red Bull Racing to actually have to tap away and clear their air. There was no way, surely, they were going to live there off the hip of Emirates Team New Zealand, so that they bailed early to keep the game alive.
So it's only taken really half the first leg for Emirates Team New Zealand to start really putting pressure on Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Peter?
Best VMGP.
Yeah, I reckon what the game is here is the New Zealanders will try and make Alinghi do one extra tack, and that's why they've come back quite short on their hip, forcing Alinghi over to this left-hand lay line. When they come back, New Zealand will face them again. So this is about forcing the trailing boat to do an extra tack.
You don't want to be doing manoeuvres. I mean, big losses in the tacks now. New Zealand went from 34 knots to 26. Keeps being lost.
Just rebuild a bit.
An 8 knot drop in speed, fairly typical in these conditions. It is a big penalty though, every manoeuvre. You've got to re-accelerate.
Very focused on our manoeuvre.
Emirates Team New Zealand just giving Alinghi Red Bull Racing no wiggle room to squirm out of there. They're just going to keep coming back, and they'll just keep herding them over to the left-hand side of the course to then ultimately just make them sit in their gas on the long one back to the top mark. So the pain is yet to come.
They're going there. So, 2, 1.
Allez, bon, guys. Hey, keep pushing, guys.
I'd say New Zealand are executing these tags slightly better. With each tag, there's just a slow bleed, isn't there? They're just dropping metre by metre.
So
really threading the eye of the needle. Alinghi Red Bull Racing, not much they can do at the moment except just keep in touch, keep sailing the boat well, rely on your pace.
Back to 185
do all the simple things well.
A bit more even now. I'm trying to lift it, so I'm happy with that.
Emirates Team New Zealand at the moment, at this point, it's a small lead, but you feel like they've got Alinghi Red Bull Racing somewhat in the vice on that first leg. They will be first to round the top mark for the opening gambit in race number 12, the final race of the day here at the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta on the Mediterranean.
3, 2, 1, here we go. I think I'll follow. Just make the most of this shift.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing, though, they're not out of it. If you remember their race earlier today against INEOS Britannia, they hung in there. They will not go away.
Quite a big drop in pressure. We're seeing 7 or 8 knots at those top marks. I mean, I think 6.5 knots is the limit for AC75 racing. Have you had a good look at are they on the same jib, Glenn? What can you see?
Yeah, very, very similar sail plans, both teams, and they'll be really setting the boat up for sort of max power, exiting the manoeuvres. The funny thing is, the lighter the wind, the more oil movement you use. So the Cyclors actually have to work harder in these lighter conditions a lot of the time than when it's actually sort of nice and steady 11, 12 knots. So the lighter it is, often the harder it gets for the guys pedaling, because you are just going through such big camber ranges with the sails.
I mean, that was a lovely shot. We saw the mainsail, didn't we? Tiny movements back and forward on the
real margin on it. So probably
that biggest righty. Biggest righty, carry. Yeah, I'd agree. Bit tough on the left there.
Remember, this team is the benchmark, the defender. And actually for Alinghi Red Bull Racing, lots to be positive about within this race. They are hanging in there.
On to chase zero. Peter, Emirates Team New Zealand just doing it by the numbers.
Yeah, they look impressive. When we just went round behind Emirates Team New Zealand, they're carrying quite a lot of windward heel, and you know, they just look so powered up. And the other point, I think, is where they're making the big gains is their manoeuvres. They seem to be able to come out of the manoeuvres, get back up to target speed and angle quicker than Alinghi.
All the way, then, eh? Yep.
Nice to clear, boys.
Windward heel, Glenn. Why is that so powerful as the conditions are lighter?
Got it, mate. Yep.
Yeah, generally, when it's a little lighter, you run the cant of the board further under the boat, so you're actually trying to reduce the riding moment slightly and actually gain efficiency. So a little bit of windward heel is actually just getting the platform a little lower to the water and actually getting that aerodynamic seal, or that imaginary seal from the rig down to the water a little closer. So trying to get the platform as low as you can, as often as you can.
What does it look like up there, Andy? Did you go all the way?
Yeah, look at there. No, you would.
Yeah. Just get the clean air above their line, right?
Yeah.
It's such great comms, isn't it, on Team New Zealand? Such trust between all of them.
It does look flaky on the right.
Emirates Team New Zealand about to complete leg number 2 of 6 in this 12th race of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta here in Barcelona. Smoothly around the mark they go, and head upwind again. Cool, calm and collected, the defenders of the 37th America's Cup. I'll remind you again, though, this is all about the long game, particularly for wannabe challengers like Alinghi Red Bull Racing. all about learning and gathering data and how much they can learn. They round the left-hand mark as we said, head upwind on leg number 3, which will mark the halfway point. Let's go on to the chase boat for Emirates Team New Zealand. And Ray Davies is standing by. Nice start, cool and calm, Ray.
Yeah, it's a great start. No, really good. You know, coming off the line, it's pretty much even, but with the power of the ride and up to speed and rumbling and going the way the guys wanted to go. So couldn't ask for more than that.
Ray, conditions look to have changed a bit. It seems really unstable. What do you think?
Certainly it's eased off a bit from those earlier races, but the breeze is hanging in there, you know, sort of 9 to 11 knots, easing back to 8.5 at times. So yeah, it's tricky out here when it gets soft and it gets a bit patchy. A little puff in these boats and this wind speed makes a huge difference.
How much do you learn about the boat in differing wind conditions and where maybe its sweet spot is?
Oh no, we learn a lot all the time, every time we go out, but it's really good to actually have some numbers on the course and see lap times and actually have a competitor out there pushing us. So you know, you get a lot more out of it from the racing and the boat handling and the pre-start and just the team even building up to the start and having you know, that all goes smoothly as well under pressure to a fixed time of a race start. So, you know, it puts the whole team under pressure, which is perfect. It's what we're here for.
Thanks for your time, buddy. Talk again.
Thanks.
This is the race committee. We are moving the leeward gate, shifting the axis to 186 and shortening to 1.45 nautical miles.
Wow, that wind's not dying away, but it's softening really quickly.
Lots of course adjustment, in part because there is a target time, isn't it? 23 minutes. Also because they can move the marks so quickly and so efficiently. They're not attached to the seabed. They are electric, autonomous, controlled by GPS.
It's amazing how the technology has changed so much, not just on the boats, but the whole infrastructure of a yacht race. It's fascinating. I took some photos and sent them home to my friends, and they were going, what are those? I'm saying, oh, they're the autonomous marks, the boundary markers to keep the fans away. And they're going, really? I said, really?
Yeah, no excuse for a bad course these days, and Ian Murray and Mel Roberts do a brilliant job in keeping the course square and true and on time, and to have that at their fingertips is pretty incredible, and obviously that's what the sailors want. They want a fair course, as do the teams, so makes it really good.
And it looks to be more up here as they head all the way to lake.
Quite a lot more speed with the New Zealand team, whether there's more pressure perhaps on that right-hand side.
I think we've seen that, just that general better pressure on that right-hand side, surely for you know, almost 2 days now. So it'll be interesting tomorrow if we do have a different wind direction and a different sea state, you know, what the teams will do, what the favoured side of the course will be. But as we saw and heard from Ray Davies, their coach on Emirates Team New Zealand Chase, you know, the guys, the team's plan was to try and get out to that right-hand side of the course as quickly as they could, and sort of forcing Alinghi to the left and then having the option to tack out to the right. They took that initial gain as they hit the right-hand side of the course.
Just about to complete the halfway stage of race number 12 here in Barcelona, and it's the defender Emirates Team New Zealand well in control of this race. But you always say well in control with a question mark, because you never can know what can go on. Think what happened today with American Magic. They had a gear failure, is what we understand. We had an incredible bang early in the race, well, right at the beginning, and they had to pull out of the start box. Emirates Team New Zealand around and complete the halfway stage of race 12.
Pretty bad, where you want to go?
I think so, just for the gas of them.
Talking a lot about the dirty air, the confused air from the other boat. And it lingers, doesn't it? It's after the breeze, it's just so lazy, it's not making its way anywhere.
Alinghi Red Bull Racing coming to the top gate to complete the halfway stage for themselves. They will take the right-hand mark as they see it, left hand as you see it, on whatever screen you're looking at, big, small, or otherwise around the world.
Can I see 110? 120, 140, please.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shifting the axis to 184 and shortening to 1.4 nautical miles.
Nice breeze here.
Another course change there. Breeze just getting a little softer and a little wobblier, so...
Don't be afraid to go over numbers.
And the challenge, Pete, on Chase Zero gets just a little bit harder for both these teams, that wind softening.
Looking back through pistol. So, it's way more even than last. Echo lighter for
probably the bottom end of the range, and really it's a slow bead, and it's just they seem more comfortable in this condition than Alinghi. Just looking at the boats, it just, we see that slightly windward heel, and they just look fully powered up, although it's only, what, about 8 knots. For Alinghi, they can just look down at the New Zealanders and think, hey, what are they doing? What can we...
Lifting quite a lot here. That's good.
They're still in sort of 7 or 8 knots of breeze, both boats doing 34 to 36 knots of boat speed, so, you know...
Yeah,
you're on
shake your head again.
You're on any other boat there and you're drifting downwind doing
3.
Yeah, 3. I was going to give it 4, but you gave it 3. But yeah, no, depending on what you've got in your hand, yeah, you're certainly getting downwind quick, even in this light breeze with these boats. The light air performance is pretty incredible.
You know, we look at the lead now, and it's starting to sort of eke itself out a little bit. But if you go back to that start, they were the first time we've seen this regatta. Emirates Team New Zealand will put under pressure.
They were, and I think Alinghi did a really great job there in engaging and sailing their boat really well. So, you know, although Emirates Team New Zealand are striding away here, they'll take great confidence in what they've done.
Emirates Team New Zealand looking good in race 12 here in Barcelona. Pressured at the start. There was a good pressure coming from Alinghi Red Bull Racing, but then they just squeezed them in the first half of that upwind leg. And this is the result. Taking the right-hand marker and heading up on leg 5 of 6.
Gone, so a bit of pass loose here, really. We could kind of cross here, get us up and say, let's go here, I think we should. 3.
Fantastic shot there of Emirates Team New Zealand. That's a textbook tack. If you can pull them off like that in that sort of light air, that's what you're trying to achieve. You see the adjustments of the sails there.
I just got a little more kind of...
Alinghi Red Bull Racing now coming into complete leg number 4.
Nice left phase, looks pretty good in front. So
late job, and they'll take that right-hand mark as well. Let's go on to the chase boat of Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Petro Sibello joins us again. Petro, let's just come right back to the start. Hell of a start, wasn't it? A lot of good pressure, and then just now it's a game of us working things out, gaining data.
Yeah, I think the guys did an amazing job today in the starts, really pushing and keeping close and tight with the other boat. They decided to lead in this lighter breeze, pushing Team New Zealand to tack and go into a port stack. Unfortunately, yeah, we were a bit under ley line on the pin and a bit slow, but still happy about starting today.
Yeah, Petro, there was no sign of intimidation, was there? They were so confident in that pre-start, you know. How reassuring was that?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the really positive point of today, and was also the goal to make sure we learn the most we can this week about the starting, and we are really getting there.
Thanks for your time, Petro.
Thanks, guys.
This is the race committee. We are moving the finish line, shifting the axis to 180 and shortening the length to 1.3 nautical miles.
So just a little bit more pressure on these boats to keep them going, shortening that course. But this is the second to last leg of this race. Emirates Team New Zealand well ahead of Alinghi Red Bull Racing, and they're still honking up at around 30 knots. So it's still biggest belief that the technology to get these 7-ton monsters in low wind speeds just doing what they're doing.
You can see on the water there's not a whole lot of breeze on the water. But you see how fast the boat's actually going into the breeze, heading upwind, sort of tacking through roughly 90 degrees, sort of 45 degrees from dead upwind is roughly what the boats are sailing in these conditions. So fantastic shots here of the boats.
I am sure there are people who are not sailing, people looking at that going, how does that work? But we're not going to go into that again.
Save our powder for another day.
Yes, I know. That's a deep hole you can dive down and spend a lot of time in.
It is just, it personifies efficiency. It is so cool. And I can't help but look at it and think of its architect, Dan Bernasconi, with Team New Zealand. He's head of design, and he had a vision.
A lot of fantastic people working alongside Dan to you know, come up with all the systems, the sails, the rigging, the internals of these boats, and a really, really solid team behind the scenes.
Emirates Team New Zealand at the top gate for the last time. They'll take the left-hand markers you said and head on down. All things being equal, they will record their 4th win and a perfect record for this preliminary regatta here in Barcelona, and they will have their nose over the line into the final.
Pretty dominant performance from Emirates Team New Zealand over Alinghi Red Bull Racing there. It's obviously the breeze is getting lighter and lighter, and really, really hard to sort of punch through that dirty air. Surely it's getting chopped up on the course. It lingers around like a bad smell, that dirty air. So you want to try and put the peg on the nose and try and keep away from it if you can.
Final tag heading into the top mark for Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Still sitting at around 25 knots, pretty hard upwind, but they're still cranking along to get that beautiful AC 75 to do its job. Head towards the left-hand mark. Right for them on the boat, and away they go. Heading home on a Saturday in Barcelona.
The valves working hard there, controlling the traveller of the yacht, sort of pulsating valves there, really, really giving accurate control for the trimmers to position that traveller exactly where you need it. So super important. The control of the sails and millimetre control is what you're doing, always adjusting all the time. It's not just the traveller, it's the clue positioning, the Cunninghams, the jib Cunningham. A lot of boats running under deck systems that you can't even see, but really, really important to have that accuracy of control.
I mean, Alinghi has a legacy within the Cup, but this team, the sailors, are young. They have had a lot to learn, haven't they, in a short period of time? I mean, just how steep is that hill?
3, 2.
Certainly a steep one, but they're doing a great job, and they'll be around pushing hard over the coming races for sure in the coming weeks.
So on a day when the wind has just tailed off at the end of it, Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender of the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup, have done pretty much a job, a flawless job on Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They will go into Sunday with a perfect record. They are 4 from 4.
On the cruise.
Cool, calm and collected. Not too much emotion, just another race done. and done well. Yeah, look at that. The Kiwis come out. Oh, soft Kiwi toy. Cannot do much better than that if you're a supporter of Emirates Team New Zealand. That's not a bad place to watch it either. Mind you, if you want the real close-up action, you just watch it wherever you are around the world on your small screen, your big screen, your laptop or whatever, because we are bringing you pictures that are just glorious every time we head out on the water. Alinghi Red Bull Racing come home to complete race number 12 of the Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. They tried to push at the start, but they just couldn't keep up.
Nice pull, guys.
They will remain with one win in this Preliminary Regatta.
Touch higher.
Confirmation, a perfect 4 from 4 for Emirates Team New Zealand against Alinghi Red Bull Racing. That delta at the end, 1 minute and 15 seconds. So confirmation of where it all stacks up. Lots of green mean you've been good, lots of red mean you've been doing it tough. And right at the top with 4 points leading the teams, Emirates Team New Zealand.
We had a great tussle at the start and really confident racing by Alinghi Red Bull Racing.
6 for the pin.
Managing to avoid the hook.
They're doing a really good job there, Alinghi Red Bull Racing, to really put the pressure on Emirates Team New Zealand. But as we heard from Coach Ray Davies and the team, the right-hand side was what they were after. Pretty much even start, first split start surely we've seen.
We love a split start, don't we, in the America's Cup? Nicely done by Alinghi Red Bull Racing. This downwind leg, though, Emirates Team New Zealand extending as the conditions got trickier and lighter. It just seemed to get better and better. Winning by over a kilometre from the Swiss team.
So let's go on board Emirates Team New Zealand. Peter Burling, a little bit of pressure in the start box today. You would have appreciated that.
Yeah, it was a good bit of fun. We really wanted the ride, and then when they jumped us that early, we thought we'd take on the split. Haven't seen one yet this event, so yeah, it's good to get one under our belt, and seemed to work out all right.
Pete, how satisfying the boat performance as the air got lighter?
Yeah, I mean, we're really happy with that performance across the range. It's really, I think, a lot about actually understanding how to sail the boat, or how to use your equipment well, and we're still learning a lot about that, but yeah, really happy in those conditions. We haven't actually seen that light air for a little while, so it was a little bit of just switching back in up that first beat, and yeah, we're really happy with the way we did.
Oh, Pete, it's Lenny. The jib call before the race today, that was obviously a bit of a tricky one with sort of the potential of the breeze dropping a little bit. That would have been a little bit of fever there for a bit.
Yeah, it seemed pretty relaxed on our boat to go the 3. You know, we love the 3 downrange, Lenny, you know that. But, yeah, no, we're really happy with the sails. You know, the boat's got so efficient, you can put small cut up pretty early, and yeah, we saw 7 knots at one stage in that race, so it was probably getting a bit under it, but all good fun.
Nice job, Pete. Appreciate your time. Let's go to Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Arno Sarafogis. Arno, let's talk about the start. Great to see you put pressure on the defender.
Yeah, it was a great start. We said we're just gonna try different things, and it was a pretty good battle. We just got out of the line a little slower compared to Team New Zealand, but then we tried to make our way, but they did defend really well the right hand side on the first beat, and then from there it was pretty tricky to find lane, but we just tried to get as much performance out of our boat and sail our course, and yeah, it's a really good learning today for us, and was great to sail against Team New Zealand.
Arno, it's never going to be easy against a defender, but you know, pleased are you with the performance? And what are your takeaways from today?
Well, I think there is many takeaways at every race against everyone, and it was good to sail against New Zealand, and now we know what they have, and they're really aggressive on the pre-start, which was really good fun for us to do that with them, and we're looking forward for next week.
Thanks, Arno. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, well, this was the key moment. We love a split tack. Coming together, Emirates Team New Zealand just ahead and able to get in a beautiful tack. Great positioning here, wasn't it, Glenn? And from there, it was hard for Alinghi to stay out of the bad air.
So it's time to crunch the numbers and just look at the relative performances of both these teams.
Yeah, we can see there basically Emirates Team New Zealand just a couple of knots faster on the average speed around the track, and really that sort of turned into the delta there at the finish line. So not sure if that's a sign of things to come or not, but Alinghi's certainly doing a great job, you know, in that pre-start, and they'll take a lot of takeaways from today's performance. Distance sail, pretty similar from both teams. In actual fact, Emirates Team New Zealand saying a little further distance, but the average VMG, just a little bit higher there for Emirates Team New Zealand, and just a couple more jibes there from the Swiss, but all up the manoeuvres fairly similar.
So let's take you off the water. There's Grant Dalton, CEO of Emirates Team New Zealand, and few principals have overseen more disruption in the America's Cup than that man right there. He has taken his organisation from the brink of collapse to the brink of history. Now the defenders are gunning for another historic first.
I never had any love affair with the America's Cup. I hated it. My world was around the world racing. And then in 2003, Team New Zealand lost the America's Cup. It wasn't that they lost badly. They lay down. It was shocking.
New Zealand is out of the race. What a shame, Peter.
And then Trevor Mallard, who was then Minister of Sport, he rang me. And he said, the government believes that having the cup is good for the country. We need to try and get it back. Will you do it? I remember saying to him, yeah, fine, but I come in, sack everybody, and we're starting from scratch. You've got to be prepared to make hard decisions.
To all our supporters here and in New Zealand, you're absolutely brilliant. We love you. Thank you.
You? Okay. Yeah. Summing up the Emirates Team New Zealand journey, well, it's been up and down.
Is this the end of an era?
Teams got very close to the shutting of the doors a number of times. It got really close a week after I took over in 2003. There was not only no money, there was debt. We should have won it in 13. It was pretty brutal.
The view from on board Emirates Team New Zealand's director, Grant Dalton.
We said, that's it. We're closing. We're insolvent now. We've got to go. So we were within, say, 7 hours of closing. And I made a couple of phone calls. I rang Vitelli. And he offered to help. And then we won.
We now present the America's Cup to Emirates Team New Zealand!
I'm not the smartest guy in the room, right? I never have been, never will be. But I'll outwork you. I run pretty much a siege mentality. If you're not with us, you're trying to beat us. Therefore, we're against you.
Grant Dalton, what a tough guy. I wonder what's in store for Grant.
I do see competition everywhere. The Cup teaches you that a little bit. We don't have a different mindset than a challenger would have, trying to win each race, not just be heroes at the end. One of the mistakes that is often made with winning teams is they're not hard enough on themselves. In 2021, we won ugly, and we were really hard on ourselves because complacency was absolutely the thing that was going to creep in. So I think that the lessons of winning is to make sure that you're brutal enough to try and keep winning. If I was to try and sum it up in one word, it would be culture. You've got to have culture. It can take quite a long time to build that. But I think people like working for Team New Zealand. It has a meaning, it has a sense, it has some history. It's Man United, if you like. It's a team with personality and historic value now as a brand. So I think that helps a lot. A lot of the teams try to mimic the culture of Team New Zealand. I think, let's see whether they have this time. The thing I love the most about the Cup is the people. But physics is the Cup. The Cup is physics. So if I was to put one thing on the Cup that I love, it's the creation of the boats, which you then try to turn into speed. People expect us to innovate, so we're expected to do things that other people don't do. I like what we've done in terms of the foiling monohull. I think universally the teams like these boats, and you can't go back to clunky old boats that don't foil. I mean, who the hell wants one of those? So we have made our mark. Win, lose, boats abandoned or not, it's there forever now and it will always be remembered. But I see it also as part of the Team New Zealand legacy. We are responsible for the pinnacle of the sport, for the television to be right, for the boats to look good, for spectators to come, making sure the teams want to be involved. This is top of the game, and it's our responsibility to make sure all those aspects are looked after properly. We take it seriously. Every challenger wants to be the defender, so this is not going to be easy. So yeah, I'm worried. If I wasn't worried, we wouldn't be sharp. But my confidence in this campaign is high. I always believe the guys can give us a fast boat because they're good at doing that. This time I have a lot of confidence in the yachtsmen as well. I think as a unit they're combining really well. They're sailing well, they're communicating, they're working hard. Nobody has ever won it 3 times in a row with the same team. To me that's significant. There's no doubt Emirates Team New Zealand is one of the best America's Cup teams in history, but that would stamp it 100% as the best ever.
Correction behind 090.
Grant Dalton, a man with a winner's mentality. Time to wrap the day here in Barcelona. Let's quickly go on to the water with Pete Lester and Chase Sarah. Pete, what did you make of the day? What stood out?
Oh, I think best day's racing. I was impressed by INEOS. They created a lead change. They had really good downward speed. Reliability reared its ugly head again with USA, but they'll get over that. And really, speed is the friend of Emirates Team New Zealand.
Yeah, really interesting day today. Obviously, a little bit lighter breeze at the end, but interesting to see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, promising day from the British outfit and also from Alinghi Red Bull Racing. They'll be positive at the end of today.
It's been a big old day, and we've still got one tomorrow, and that's called Finals Day of the coast of Barcelona. But what a day it has been. We've seen all sorts of things go on here on our race course, and even the start box, we saw plenty as well. INEOS Britannia got their first win, and they were looking so strong, and they are strong. We've seen the fast boat that's been promised so much, and we got to see it in their wing. And then bang, there, that loud bang at the back end. Rudder issues for American Magic in the start box. Looked like it wanted to take off like an aeroplane. They are flying boats, not this time, but we got to see a little bit of Orient Express racing, up and racing, showing the speed that they have. Rossa, Prada Pirelli, they were just slick. And they are going to be a real handful for a lot of teams when we get into that Challenger Selection Series. But there's the Defender as well that everybody's got to think about, because they will be playing with them as well in that Challenger Selection Series. Gee, it just looks so good watching all these AC75s at speed. So much to look forward to tomorrow after another cracking day on the Med in beautiful conditions, although softened somewhat. So the standings look like this going into the final day of racing in this Louis Vuitton Preliminary Regatta. And it's 4 from 4 from Emirates Team New Zealand. And the Italians are right up their pipe. Tomorrow, though, could be an interesting day. What does tomorrow look like race-wise? This is what you got. Soak it up and get ready for some more. There have been some amazing races so far, and they're only going to get better as we continue here. The city of Barcelona is turning it on. This is Barcelona. Glorious conditions, a wonderful city just to get around on. I think that's what our whole crew is discovering, that they really are embracing the 37th America's Cup. And they are loving where they can watch it from. Barcelona at the beach, Bogatel, the Playa del Mar, it's all on. As the automated marks go back in, we will see you tomorrow for more racing of the America's Cup.